In this tutorial, we will be solving an exercise about the scatter graph. The scatter graph on the right shows the marks of a class of pupils achieved in math test, plotted against the marks they achieved in an English test. So basically, if you take a look at the graph, on the x-axis, you have the English test scores out of 100, and on the y-axis, you have the math test scores also out of 100. And basically, you have the points scattered around in this graph. So let's see what we can get out of these graphs. Part A says, draw a line of best fit on the graph. So basically, the line of best fit is the line that is as close as possible to as much as possible points on the scatter graph. It might not pass through all of them, but it is close to most of them, and it is called the line of best fit. Now, let's start by taking a look at the points. Of course, the line of best fit is not going to be close to the point up there. It should be somewhere between the points that are forming somehow a straight line right here. So basically, this is where the line of best fit is going to pass through and away from the point above. So basically, this is the line of best fit. Notice that it is as close as possible to most of the points on this scatter graph, and even though passing through some of them, but not necessarily. Part B says, Jimmy was ill on the day of the math test. If he scored 75 on the English test, predict what his math mark would have been. So basically, we're going to have to do some prediction here. We need to see how much did Jimmy score on the English test and try and predict. Jimmy scored 75 on the English test, so let's go up to 75 to the line of best fit. And see, you go back to the y-axis, and this is kind of a prediction and speculation about how would have Jimmy performed in his math test. And notice that the predicted math mark for Jimmy is 55. Again, this is only prediction and speculation and not necessarily true. Part C says Elena was ill on the day of the English test. If she scored 35 on her math test, predict what her English result would have been. Again, we need to do the same thing. We go to the math scores and we start with 75. We go straight to the line of best fit and then drop down to the x-axis to see how would have Elena performed on the English test. Notice that it hits the x-axis on somewhere between maybe 51 and 52, if I must say. So the predicted English mark for Elena is 51.